Yeah, it has that dumb plot where it's like
humans only
use 5% of their brains.
What happens? Is this our Morgan Freeman? What happens when
Morgan
you
Freeman.
access
John Doe has the upper hand.
95%? Those are terrible Morgan Freemans.
I think mine was good.
Anyway,
back off. Hello
and
welcome
to
the
Critical
Breakdown,
the
podcast
where
we
start
at
the
bottom
of
Rotten
Tomatoes
and
work
our
way
to
100%
fresh. I'm
Max
and
I'm
Scott,
and
today
we're
talking
about
Lawless,
rated
67% on
Rotten
Tomatoes.
All right, that was cute.
That was cute.
We're cute, guys.
We are cute, guys.
And that's our show.
What's up, man? What a fun intro.
Yeah.
Fun intro for a fun week.
It's been a busy week.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it has.
Had a lot of stuff under my belt. It's these short weeks. We just passed a holiday. It's always the short weeks.
It's a sneaky short week.
Yeah.
It's like, in my opinion, when you have a 3-day weekend, it's like you lose Sunday. Your Monday's your Sunday, and then what happened to Sunday? You'll get it later.
Yeah. Guys, you'll get it later. When you're older.
What have you been watching on this short week?
I got a lot under my belt.
Now that Party 5's out of the way,
yeah, my
schedule a few hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when we last left off, I picked up Daredevil again.
Yeah.
And I finished off season 2.
Okay. Did you like the second half as much as the first half?
Yeah, you were right, because I mentioned that I missed the Kingpin, and as soon as Vincent D'Onofrio comes back in, he's electrifying.
There be spoilers.
Yeah. It's been out for like a year or two. It's okay.
Yeah, there's enough.
But
sorry if you're mad, everybody.
Yeah. I will stay relatively spoiler-free on this next part. Even though I've only seen half of Jessica Jones, I decided to jump in and just start watching The Defenders.
And you hadn't watched Iron Fist or...
either of them. I keep meaning to watch Luke Cage. And I want to finish Jessica Jones, and I'll probably watch Iron Fist eventually, but Daredevil's among my top Marvel characters who's not the X-Men, basically. I've been reading his books on and off since I was a kid. I've always loved his like whole guilt thing and Catholicism built into his character.
Sure.
So I'm like, I'll just watch The Defenders and go back and get caught up if I like the other guys. Yeah. And I like Luke Cage so far. He's pretty cool. I mean, he was in the parts of Jessica Jones that I watched, but and I have no beef with Iron Fist, but I haven't really watched his stuff. But I get why some people will be turned off by it, and I also get that like the actor just isn't as compelling. I mean, I think his name's Finn Jones. He played Lawless, and I mean, he was good enough as Lawless, but they never really did anything with his character.
Yeah,
so
he didn't have to do much.
Season like 1 and 2, Lawless was interesting.
Yeah, and then after that, he was just
there. Yeah, so no, I mean, I'll say spoiler free on that. It's interesting to see what they do and how it ties into the end of Daredevil.
How far into the Defenders are you?
I think I got 2 or 3 episodes in. It's only 8 episodes. It's a shorter one, but I do like. You see how they're interacting before they officially interact.
Yeah,
like,
they sort of build connections.
In ties. Yeah. So I like that.
Rosario Dawson in it?
Yeah, she is.
She's been the one that's been in all the series as far as I know.
Yeah, she's definitely... So far, at the end of Daredevil, there's a connection to Jessica Jones that pops up with a certain character.
At the end of Daredevil season 2?
Yeah. And then, like you said, Rosario Dawson, I know she obviously has connections to at least 2 of the other series. Mm-hmm. And then there's another character that interacts with Iron Fist like right off the bat that you kind of... They don't know what's going on, but you can tell what's going on. So it's interesting, like I said.
Did we ever figure out if they're going to be in the next Avengers stuff?
I don't think they will be, but we never looked into it. I think they'll keep it the same universe, but separate still. Yeah. If anything, they might make another Defender series where they have to deal with whatever the Earth's version of it is. Because I know that they do that with... Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They'll have like the S.H.I.E.L.D. Earthside desk aspect of stuff, but I don't watch that show, so I don't really know the details.
Yeah, nor I. But Inhumans came out, last week maybe? And it was a big flop.
Yeah, that looked like a flop from the get-go.
Well, the whole thing's weird. It's a TV show, and it went through so much weird development stuff, and then they released it in IMAX, but it wasn't filmed on IMAX cameras or anything.
It was originally going to be a film. Yeah. It was on their like phase 5 for the longest time. It's one of the guys on the Marvel team, on the Marvel like movie team. I want to say it's like one of his like pet properties where he loves it and wants to see it adapted, but everyone else is like, dude, nobody really cares. Yeah. I've read a couple comics with the Inhumans, and I'm not interested in watching them. They haven't sold me on why I should watch them. The coolest thing is they have like a giant like pug bulldog Inhuman thing called Lockjaw that he like transports them around. That's the coolest thing. That's all I got. The main character can't speak or he'd kill everyone.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And then like his wife has hair that moves of its own accord. So like they'd have to have CG going the whole time for her hair to be animated constantly. It's just...
How do you get behind a character that can't talk, you know?
They show, I think in the comics they would use like telepathy, and you would just kind of get like inner monologues.
Yeah. But like as a TV viewer.
Exactly. I think they said they're going to have like facial reactions and sign language, but not even American Sign Language, just like his own made up version.
That makes sense.
So...
That sounds like something I won't watch.
Yeah. What have you been watching?
Well, we both watched a new released movie.
Here be spoilers.
We both saw It.
We did see It.
Stephen King's It.
Yeah. Directed by, is it Andrew Muschietti?
I thought it was like Andreas Muschietti.
Andreas Muschietti, that's it, yeah.
But I think in his directed by, in the opening credits, said Andy Muschietti.
Andy,
and that's what put doubt in my mind about it. But I am an outspoken non-fan of horror, but this one got such good reviews beforehand that I decided, I'll try it.
Yeah.
You and former podcast guest and current wife of Max, Jody.
Wife, yeah.
Yeah. You both went with me. I think I did okay.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because out of nowhere earlier in the week, you were like, do you guys want to see It?
Yeah.
And
I've been on and off the bandwagon with it.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I want to see it, but I didn't think you would want to see it. And you were like, I don't know why I do.
Once it got good reviews, I was like, okay, this is good enough that I should see it. You know why I'm seeing it? For the integrity of the Scoots Academy Awards.
That's fair.
I need to see the big
You got to push yourself in these genres.
But I think I did okay. You were sitting next to me, and I think I punched your leg a few times.
Yeah, so...
But never too hard, was it?
Not pain hard, but it was pretty hard. Okay. I will say this. I was between you and Jody. Jody held my arm, nails in the whole time, screaming. I think her feet ended up on my lap at one point.
Yeah, it looked weirdly... you guys definitely...
She was curled up.
Yeah.
And screaming.
Yeah, she was screaming and laughing a lot.
Yeah.
Like scream laughing.
When she gets scared, she laughs. But and you were just kind of thrashing. Jody said she glanced at you at one point, and it looked like you wanted to vomit. And I said he probably did want to vomit.
That's accurate.
I'll say I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Oh, I actually enjoyed it too.
Yeah. It's funny in the right spots when it needs to be funny.
It's like heartwarming too.
Yeah. There's good emotions in there.
Yeah. Let's keep it spoiler free.
Yeah.
There's good scares too, and there's not. My big problem with horror films with jump scares and stuff is that they often feel very cheap.
Yeah.
It's just like suddenly something appears. Like Paranormal Activity is that way, where there's nothing happening, and then like a sheet ghost flies at you. I don't know. But this, they set it up really well with like the framing and the camera work.
Oh, yeah.
So
you know when the scare is going to happen.
The music sets in, so you're like, it builds that dread already.
It builds suspense, and it's almost more terrifying than a jump scare. I mean, it definitely is more terrifying than a jump scare because you know they keep showing stuff, and they even do it when there's not going to be a scare, which I love. It's like the reverse of a jump scare.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning, it starts, with a scene that sets that it's a horror film. Yeah. They're going to go into details, but then after that, for about the first act, there's maybe every other scene may be scary.
Yeah.
But it might not. It might just be
time.
Suspense with nothing actually happening. There'd be like somebody walking around the corner, and I'd hear both of you go, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And then nothing happens, and I'm just laughing because like, that's great. That's actually really good because it keeps you guys guessing.
In fairness, I'm often scared when a scene transitions from night to day. Yeah. So I'm not a good source for that.
Any movie, if somebody walks around a corner and then the shot changes, you might just be scared.
Well, that's scary. No, it was really good. It was very satisfying. The kid actors and actresses,
they're great. Yeah.
All great.
Yeah.
All awesome. So I bet we're going to see them in all sorts of crap now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the one kid who played Richie, he's from Stranger Things. Yeah. The main kid, I don't know the actor's name. He played Billy. Mm-hmm. He was the child actor in Midnight Special, and he was great there too. Yeah. A lot older here though, which, I mean, that's how age works. But
It's crazy.
He went from playing like a 7-year-old in Midnight Special to playing a junior high student.
What I liked is the kid who played Trash Mouth, Richie. He plays Mike in Stranger Things.
Yep.
And
very different characters.
Mike is basically the Billy.
Yeah, he's kind of like your straight and narrow hero type.
Your hero type. Yeah. So I like to see him. I liked that not only was he a different role, he was great in that role. He was phenomenal.
Awesome. So. He was the best part of the movie.
For sure.
He had some lines that I won't say them just because they're worth hearing the first time when you see the movie. But
he makes a lot of just juvenile middle school jokes.
Yeah.
I'll say this just for not even a spoiler. His joke about virgins was one of the funniest things I've heard in a film in a long time. So
he had a bunch of
tons
jokes
of stuff like that.
He kept making like your mother jokes too, and they were rarely funny, but they were funny because he kept making them.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. I recommend it, even if you're not a horror fan.
Yeah.
If you think you can sit there, because it is scary, and there is some not body horror, but there's some gore.
It's definitely harder to scare me than you guys, but there was about 3 or 4 shots in the film where I was legitimately like jumping out of my seat.
Yeah.
So
there's one scene in particular that it's still kind of haunting me, but I had to watch a palate cleanser after it so I could sleep. So me and Mickey watched Ratatouille.
Nice.
Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's just Ratatouille.
Yeah, let's go with that version.
But it's Brad Bird's Pixar movie, or one of his Pixar movies, I guess. And it's just really good.
Yeah.
It's a cool 110 minutes, not too much. Doesn't linger.
Do you think if they made a sequel, it'd be like Ratatouille with a number in there?
I think that's why they shouldn't make a sequel. Because
I think you're right. I haven't even seen it
with that title.
I haven't even seen it, and I'll agree with you on my own comment.
It's really good. It's very charming. And it's kind of fun to see all the animation with all the food and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But for some reason, that was like more fun.
That's Patton Oswalt, right?
Yeah, he voices the rat, Remy.
That's cool, man.
And then the main human character is named Linguini. I forget his first name, but his last name's Linguini. Brad Garrett does a voice.
Nice.
I was surprised, though. Usually these big animated features have huge voice casts of A-list celebrities. And this really didn't. Patton Oswalt and Brad Garrett were the only voice or actors I recognized the voices of.
I wonder if the rest were just like normal voice actors.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's your like marquee are the big name like normal celebrity actors, and then you fill the rest out with just like working voice actors.
Yeah, for sure. So, but no, it was really good, and it was the perfect palate cleanser for it.
Well, our palate cleanser was a vastly different film than that. Known as Masterminds.
Yes, Masterminds.
Chosen by my wife. I believe it's directed by the same guy who did Napoleon Dynamite, I want to say.
Okay.
And it starts Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, Jason Sudeikis, a couple other people you'd recognize, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones. It's funny. It's dumb and bad.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Like, It's directed by Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite, like I said.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he did Nacho Libre. He's kind of known for...
that, like, stupid humor kind of.
Stupid humor, exactly. But, for the most part, like, the plot's just, I mean, inconsequential. It's based off a true story, which is kind of cool. But
loosely
really...
based, I'm guessing?
Yeah. But they show some of the real characters in the end, which is interesting. But, like, Zach Galifianakis... he plays a weird person like he always does, but it's nice to see him kind of step out of that weird friend role into like the weird maid character role. And I do think that Jared Hess's style works well for Galifianakis as an actor.
Sure.
So that was kind of fun. He had really funny hair, and half the jokes are based on that, but it's like it actually kind of works in a lot of them. So
well, he's kind of a physical actor or physical comedian in that sense.
And it's because he commits to the physical activities.
Yeah.
Like he used to do those skits where he was on the beach drinking martinis and he'd have like a beehive updo hair with his beard walking around like serving martinis. And I mean, he does that like nobody else because he's just committing to it. So there's things in this where he like is, has his bangs and weird hair and he's it's just funny for that surface level funny, but it is a good follow up to a horror movie.
Yeah. You need something to kind of reset the juju.
I don't think I'll like think about this movie past today, but it made me laugh a couple times.
Was this one of those movies that kind of sat on, like, was done and just sat for a while?
Yeah. I think it had a release hell.
Yeah.
Because we saw the trailer for about 2 years straight before it ever came out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I don't regret watching it. It's just it's a dumb comedy that you watch on a Friday night.
You know, it could have turned out a lot worse. So.
It's like when USA used to play like their midnight movies and shit.
Okay.
This would be that.
There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Trying to think if I watched anything else, but I think that covers it.
I've been watching some stuff, but nothing worth talking about.
Yeah.
I just rewatched The Office again. No one needs to hear that.
That's kind of like a constant state for you.
I'm about to restart it. I'm just kidding, but maybe. It's very good still.
One thing we might have to rewatch so that we can figure out what we're talking about is Lawless.
Hey, that's a bringer back.
Yeah.
What's the plot synopsis for Lawless?
When a new special deputy comes to Depression-era Franklin County, Virginia, a trio of bootlegging brothers are threatened by the authorities gunning for a cut of their profits.
Yeah.
This is also based on a true story, much like Masterminds.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about this actually is the true story. Like, it's based on a novel written by the grandson of at least one of the brothers. Yeah, a Bondurant grandson.
Yeah.
I kept thinking... So, it takes place in Depression era, the 1920s. One of the problems with the movie, just right off the bat, is it's really hard to understand what a lot of the characters are saying most of the time. And
I think it's because you have a lot of these actors who like to be authentic.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it was authentic.
Yeah.
But between the sound mixing and just...
The sound mixing was kind of poor.
Yeah, just between that and just the fact that they were kind of using kind of mud mouth accents, you know, it was tough to understand.
It's if you tell Tom Hardy, who's in this, and Shia LaBeouf, who's also in this, to do an accent, I mean, they will go learn the accent completely, and then they will do it, and you can't stop them.
Tom Hardy was the toughest to understand because his character, Forrest, was the, like, stern, tough, like... stone jaw, doesn't show emotion, so everything he was saying was very mumbled and with this probably authentic accent. And I legitimately couldn't understand him 50% of the time. It was really hard in the first half of the movie, and I thought it got better in the second half.
I think
and
so.
Maybe we got used to it, or
what's funny,
maybe it was just more understandable.
What's funny about that,
here be spoilers,
is that in the second half he gets his throat cut.
I don't think you need to hear be spoilers when we're talking.
No, I know, I just want to press the button.
Yeah, that's fine. It was good press.
Yeah, what's funny is he gets his throat cut, which you think would make it harder, because they're like, don't let him talk. And from then on, like, we understood him a lot better.
Yeah, because the things he was saying were very important, because he couldn't talk that much, I guess.
Maybe he just cut out the mud mouth, like you said. So.
Well, you mentioned Tom Hardy, you mentioned Shia LaBeouf. Mm-hmm. There's a pretty good ensemble here, though. We also have Jason Clarke rounding out the Bondurants.
Mm-hmm. And he, for a lot of people... when this movie came out, and maybe up until about the last year or so, would be, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, and that guy, as we call him. An OTG.
And I think...
can that be a thing now?
Yeah, that could be an OTG.
Cool.
I think now, with the amount of films he's done recently, people know more. I mean, he's in Zero Dark 30.
Yeah.
He's in the second...
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
And he was great there, and he was the lead.
Yeah. And then he's done a couple other... films people have seen him in. He was in one of the Terminators that was very bad.
Was he in Salvation? No.
Genesis. He was in Genesis. Yeah. Ugh. So, but no, I mean, he's becoming an actor people recognize. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him in like a comic type movie in the next like couple years.
You think so?
Maybe not as a main character, but like as somebody in one of those.
In a comic? Oh, like a comic book movie.
Yeah.
That's like comedy.
Not a comedian thing.
I was like, I don't see that.
I could see him doing a comedy, but it'd be weird.
I could see him being the villain in like a B comic book movie, like an Ant-Man level.
Yeah,
maybe he'll be the villain in Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
I don't know what the plot of Captain Marvel is, but you know what? That's a hot take. Book it.
We're marking this right now. So
you're welcome, Jason.
Yeah. We'll come back.
Yeah. Even the non-Bondurants were pretty big. Yeah,
you have Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
In one of the strangest performances I've seen in a while.
Yeah, he had the grossest haircut. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Jody at one point called it butt hair. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's not what it is. And then you look at it, and there's like a butt crack shaved into his head. It's
like, take another actor in this movie, take Gary Oldman's hair from Bram Stoker's Dracula, and then do a hard part right to the center.
Yeah.
Dye it black.
Like the hardest part possible.
Like a 2-inch hard part.
Yeah.
That's a weird sentence. So you have him. You have the lovely Jessica Chastain.
Your girl.
Everybody's girl.
Yeah.
So
it's naked.
She does get naked. Let's
full
just get that
frontal
out.
too. Full frontal.
Yeah.
And you see it all, ladies and gentlemen. You see it all.
Another person showing it all is Dane DeHaan.
Well, he doesn't show it all in the same way, but
he shows all that skill. I've been pretty hard on Dane DeHaan.
You've been very hard
years.
on Dane DeHaan, and I'm not even convinced you've ever seen anything he's been on.
No, I've seen the Spider-Man
Spider-Man
films.
2.
Yeah. So,
but other than that,
I looked it up and I can't confirm or deny, but I've seen a bunch of movie trailers with Dane DeHaan, and I've never had interest in him. He's the poor man's Cara Delevingne. That's a dumb joke, but no, he plays a character named Cricket Pate.
Yeah, who is dim, I guess. I don't know. Or no, he had
rickets.
Rickety Cricket.
Is that actually a thing?
Jody said it was a thing. I don't know if it's a thing.
I don't think it's a thing.
But he was also the brains of the operation.
Which is strange.
Yeah.
But you know what? He was like a heartwarming character.
He was amazing in that.
Yeah.
He was legitimately the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
And if you told me this cast and then you said, and your favorite part is going to be Dane DeHaan, I would have been like, okay, guy. Like,
yeah.
Back off. And I'm actually pro Dane because I don't like saying pro Dane either, by the way.
That's Dane Cook. That's Dane DeHaan.
No, stop.
That's the Danish people.
I am pro Danish people.
Okay.
Let the record show. He was awesome in Chronicle, which I've said before. I haven't seen A Cure for Wellness or Valerian, but I'm on Team Dane. You know, let's get him in stuff. You know?
I'm Team Cricket Pate.
Yeah, I'm Team Cricket for sure.
We also had Mia Wasikowska.
Yeah. Now we're entering the mostly pointless characters.
She gave Shia LaBeouf's character, Jack, I think is his name, motivation to wear a suit.
Yeah.
And to go legit.
I think he would have been wearing a nice suit anyways.
I agree.
Because he was really feeling his swag at that point. She was a preacher's daughter.
Yeah.
She did not have much to work with in this movie. So
we mentioned Gary Oldman's here, but he was another criminal who moved into town like a big city criminal.
Yeah, he was like a big gangster. He had a Tommy gun. That's how you knew he was from the city. The
trailers made it seem like he and Guy Pearce were going to be villains facing each other as well as the Bond
like little three-way.
Yeah. The trailer was like way too stylish for the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was like, whenever this came out, 2012, it was like 2012 stylish, where they throw the trailer in After Effects, they freeze frame on one person while the screen's still moving around.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of effects-driven stuff in the trailer. And the movie's pretty straightforward. It's not like that at all.
No.
So
the movie is definitely more period piece than like stylish action film.
I don't know about the box office, but maybe that reflects the trailer energy versus the actual presentation of the film.
Do you want to know the box office?
Sure.
Well, it came out August 31st of 2012. It's that classic end of summer doldrums. I actually don't know. I think that's kind of a doldrums, right? We had some bad weeks this past summer at the end of August.
The most exciting thing that's happened here, because there's like a week or two left of summer.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
The season, not necessarily the movie season, but the last couple of weeks have been
dead.
Who cares?
2012 was the same way. Lawless got second in its opening weekend behind a movie called The Possession, which also opened that week. I'm assuming it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you anything about it. But Lawless only took in $10 million in its opening weekend. And its total domestic run was only $37.4 million. On a $26 million budget, that's not really bringing home the bacon for the Weinsteins.
No, it's not. And I mean, it's kind of a hard sell of a film. Because when we first started talking about it, I pointed this out to you in the movie. I just brought it up. I thought we were talking about Gangster Squad when we first discussed watching this movie, which is like a low-rated film. Lower-rated.
And it came out around the same time.
Yeah.
It is different, but...
in every single way, I would say. Yeah. But it also features... Gangster Squad actually came out after, but it features good actors, too. I mean, you have...
Giovanni Ribisi.
So you have Sean Penn. You have Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Little Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. I mean, there's a lot of people in that one, but I basically... isn't Emma Stone in this?
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, Emma Stone's in it.
Nick Nolte.
Yeah, Nick Nolte. I mean, come on. Anthony Mackie.
Michael Pena.
So I somehow confused these films. So actually, when you first brought it up, I was like, when we were first going over everything we could watch, I was like, I don't really want to watch Lawless. But then I went back and looked, and I was like, this is a different cast than I remember completely. But these actors are all like actors I really like in Lawless. I like some of these people too.
You're like, so whichever movie it turns out to be, I'm happy.
Yeah, might as well. But then we had some friends who were like, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It was pretty good. Yeah. So, and honestly, I kind of enjoyed this film. Yeah. It's good enough. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever really rewatch it. Maybe some key scenes. I'm kidding. But no, I mean, it's fine. It doesn't like rewrite the genre. It works within the genre itself. The most interesting thing, and this is just a preview of the end. The most interesting thing is the characters all survive the events. Yeah. And then go on to have normal lives. So it's almost more interesting that like Prohibition and the Depression drove a normal Southern family into this lifestyle. And then as it ended, they were able to withdraw from it. Yeah. And just how it's kind of more interesting to see how like that was how America was affected by these overreaching rules and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for sure.
And I like that aspect of it. There's a lot of problems with the film still, pacing, sound design.
I didn't think the pacing was that bad, but that's just because the movie's short.
Yeah, no, thankfully it's short.
An hour and 45 minutes or something.
My problem with the pacing is more like kind of the central part of the pacing, which, I mean, the beginning I thought moved pretty well, and the end half worked really well pacing-wise, but there's this just kind of inner flow where I don't know what the story was.
Yeah, there was...
It's not just pacing, it's the writing, and the pacing in the second act is just kind of loose.
It can be tough sometimes for a movie. Like, they'll have a good opening, and they know how they're going to end it, and then getting there, they lose focus and stuff. And this one did do that. The middle is supposed to show kind of the rise of particularly Shia LaBeouf's character and how he starts to take more control and stuff like that. But it was very muddy in doing that. Yeah. And there's a lot of pieces in the movie that they sort of build, and then there's no payoff. Yeah. Like Mia Wasikowska's, I don't know, her character, the preacher's daughter. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where Shia LaBeouf like gets sick in a church because she's going to wash his feet. And then there's another flirtatious scene in the middle, and then he buys her a dress, and then like that's it with her. No real payoff to that, I would say. Gary Oldman is legitimately in the movie for 5 minutes. Yeah. And
he has 2.5 key scenes also.
Yeah, and you sort of get what his character is and why he was in it, but why they made it too much.
There should have been more.
There should have been more.
If you put Gary Oldman, yeah, exactly. Or just like I said earlier, put a random character actor, replace Gary Oldman, you're fine. Yeah. If you're just going to have 3 scenes. If you want Gary Oldman for like his skill level as an actor, you put him in there more.
I wonder if the character was in it more and then got cut or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
This is, I think one thing that's interesting is the Weinstein Company? Is that what they call it? Their company? Yeah. They are very much so like Oscar hunters, I guess. Yeah. They always make big pushes for one of their movies, usually every year, to be an Oscar contender. Yeah. And then the other movies that they had like bought to distribute in case they ended up as Oscar contenders or there was a lot of buzz about them, if it turns out that they're not going to be Oscar contenders, they usually just throw them away to the side. Like, I think there's an active lawsuit right now for that movie, The Founder, with Michael Keaton about the starting of the McDonald's company, which is another Weinstein Company movie. But it went through release hell because when the Weinsteins decided to throw all their weight behind Lion as their Oscar push, The Founder just like barely got a release. So it's kind of interesting, and seeing this one at the end of the summer makes me wonder if it was kind of the same way, because this is not where you put a movie that you want to really have award buzz. Yeah. But you can see where it would get award buzz because it's a period piece. That always helps. Mm-hmm. You have this huge cast. It was at the Cannes Film Festival, so the ingredients are there, but when it doesn't become a good stew, they just throw it at the end of the summer. Yeah. So I'm curious if that was part of it, but...
Yeah, I mean, and it's... Like I said, it's not bad. No. It's just, it's not an award-winning film. I like the performances mostly.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf and Dane DeHaan were the best for me. Tom Hardy's character and Jason Clarke's character were not given enough development. Yeah, yeah. Shia LaBeouf's character, Jack Bondurant, which I kept thinking they were saying Pondering.
I think they were saying like awesome. Bone Tyrant, which might be a D&D
Write that down just in case. Actually. But... their friendship, Jack and Cricket's, was the best part, and Jack had the most development from like the wimpy kid. They kept talking about how he's like not tough and all this.
He was chicken shit.
Yeah, and then he kind of came into his own throughout the movie and grew a pair, and then it ended up being the downfall for At least, well, no, I guess it didn't end up being anyone's downfall.
I mean, it kind of was.
It's so,
yeah. I mean, it got Cricket killed.
Yeah, it got Cricket killed, but I was gonna say it got Forrest killed, but Forrest got shot like 20 times and survives. And
that's an interesting story there. But no, I mean, it's definitely. You don't realize Jack's the main character when the story begins.
Yeah.
He seems more like a B plot, but he very quickly becomes the A plot with everything. And
it was satisfying.
Yeah.
And he has the most emotional moments of the movie.
And I think that might be some of my issues with the writing and the pacing is the B plots are more like Forrest and Jessica Chastain, their relationship and all that. And it's hard to tell what's going on because it looks like Guy Pearce's character assaults her at one point, but they never explain that.
They never touch it.
And then his henchmen definitely do assault her.
Yeah.
And then that's never really touched on again.
Yeah.
But I made a point to you at the time, like, I mean, I hate to make light of the situation, but that's kind of just how life was for a lot of women at the time. So, I mean, that's fine. Just kind of build that part out a little bit more.
Yeah. And then Forrest takes kind of a protective role of her, like after she did get assaulted there.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you're going to live here at the station with us. Like in our guest room or whatever. I don't remember what he said. And then she falls for him after that.
Yeah.
But they didn't really have a relationship that developed because his character was very closed.
Yeah. They had the antagonistic flirtationship right off the bat.
Yeah.
Where she was like, we're going to do this. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, I'm doing it anyway. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. But that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
So, I don't know.
That could have used definitely more. And I mean, still with Mia's character, the preacher's daughter, she could have used a lot more.
There was a little bit of flirting, but her character just didn't have any depth.
Yeah. And there was Jason Clarke at one point was in the woods around a campfire and hooked up with this one black woman that he had sold some moonshine to early in the film. Yeah. But then his buddy, who was always with him, got caught on fire by accident.
Yeah.
It was a weird scene, but I was kind of interested in the premise of the scene, and I would have liked to seen more of his character having his own...
Seen more.
Yeah. But I would have...
His character didn't have anything.
Yeah, so I'd have liked to seen more development on him because I know like he's a capable actor. I mean, he's obviously a nobody compared to these two at the time especially. But so I would have liked to seen like maybe he, you know, is breaking racial grounds at the time, just not like sexually, but like as a person, he doesn't care about the intercultural
and they kept
problems.
showing stuff like the colored fountain or the whites fountain and stuff, but then they never really have a payoff for that.
And it's one of those things. It's reality that exists.
It's part of the time.
Yeah, so I get showing it, but you can almost kind of build out to that more. Then again, they are following at least a historical text in a sense, so it's kind of hard to like push something too far one way.
Yeah.
But I just would have liked to see more of what his character, his life was like, because you got a good idea of Forrest and Jack.
Yeah.
But his was kind of like, okay.
Yeah,
he disappears for about 45 minutes, then shows back up.
Yeah, and his whole character was just like being Forrest's like sidekick.
Yeah, yeah.
And the entire characterization of him was that he gets really mean when he's drunk. And like, that was it.
Yeah.
So they did nothing for his character.
Yeah.
He's easily the smallest of the Pondering brothers.
But no, I mean, it's...
Well, before we go further, what else could we have watched?
Yeah. You know, we've said it week after week. We always just have great options. This week was, I think this week was really good for options.
A nice mixed bag.
So we'll start off
Actually, when we reread the options, I was surprised we picked Lawless.
Yeah. It was one of those...
Jessica Chastain's naked
We didn't even know that going in, did we? Did you know that?
I didn't.
I didn't know that. I didn't. I just knew Jessica Chastain was in it. Mm-hmm. Her voice is good enough for me to not even know she's naked in something.
Her voice is good enough for you to finish?
I'm just saying she has a good voice. It's very soothing.
It's very silky.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Never seen it.
It got a really poor box office reception, but it's Guy Ritchie, so if you like Guy Ritchie style, it's good.
I feel like and I've seen neither of these. Okay. But I feel like if The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was going to have a good thunder, that The Kingsman took it out from it.
That's an interesting thought.
From just the trailers. Remember, I've never seen either.
Sure. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is not similar to Kingsman really in any way. The Kingsman is like an out-and-out comedy action film. Mm-hmm. Man from U.N.C.L.E. has like period piece kind of stuff. It's
an adaptation too.
It's an adaptation. Yeah. I wouldn't stick with that comparison in your mind if you can dislodge them from each other, but it's just a good movie.
Yeah.
If it's streaming somewhere, throw it on. It's a good follow-up to Masterminds.
I'll say I'm more interested in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. than I am the Kingsman series, but that's just me.
That's just you.
Lucy.
Yeah, from Luc Besson.
Yeah, Luc Besson.
Yeah.
He made this film with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, it has that dumb plot where it's like
humans only use
5% of their brains.
What happens? Is this our Morgan Freeman? What happens when you access
John Doe has the upper hand?
Those are terrible Morgan Freemans.
I think mine was good.
Anyway,
back off.
So Lucy gets a big brain. It's like Flowers for Algernon, but she's hot.
Here be spoilers, okay?
Here be spoilers.
At the end, she turns into a flash drive.
Does she really?
That. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's
like
so
a hot
fucking
flash
dumb.
drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
jerk it too.
It's like sexy Flowers for Algernon meets Tron.
This said sexy Flowers for Algernon. Just well, what's the Flowers for Algernon comparison?
That's where like a simple man, like probably with a learning deficiency, got like a formula that gave him a super brain. And he I think it is, and he got super duper smart, and then he loses it at the end.
I remember reading Flowers for Algernon in middle school, and I do not remember that.
Yeah.
Sexy Flowers for Algernon. Put that on the box, yeah. Luke.
That'll be my review. Put that on the posters for it now. World War Z.
Yeah.
You got Brad Pitts.
Sure do. This was a huge missed opportunity because the book is really cool.
Yeah.
And it would have made a really fun like documentary series almost. Because the book is styled in these like situation reports of like different zombie outbreaks. Kind of, vignettes. Yeah. And it would have made a great like mini series or something. Yeah. And this is just a pretty generic action film.
They should have just renamed this.
Yeah, because it doesn't do anything to the source material, which is sad. And
it has some talent behind it, obviously. I mean, Brad Pitt we mentioned, but the screenplay was done by it has Lindelof and Drew Goddard.
By the way, Drew Goddard is going to be directing X-Force.
Oh, yeah.
Writing and directing X-Force, and it's going to be led by Deadpool.
I'm actually kind of excited about it, but I would love it more.
Drew Goddard's a talent.
Sidebar, the X-Force comics began as New Mutants, which is another series they're making.
Yeah, I heard they're going to be bringing some of the New Mutants in.
If they do that, I'm in. Because the three characters from Deadpool 2, Cable, Domino, and Deadpool, have all been in X-Force before.
And then they bring in a couple of New Mutants, maybe a little Wolf's Bane, maybe a little Cannonballs.
Bring in some of the
maybe a little
the
Jet Shark.
And I'm in.
I made Jet Shark up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now accept drawings of Jet Shark.
Yeah. One thing that's sort of interesting about this is for some reason, David Fincher's next movie is World War Z 2.
Which is strange.
It's such a strange move for him because one... He can make whatever he wants. He's such an established director, and anything he makes, I'm going to be into, including this, because I'm into it.
Yeah.
But he waited a long time to do his next movie because he did a Netflix series, Mindhunter, I forget the name of it, but it's coming out, I believe, at the start of October, and I'm very excited for it. But so it's been a while since he's a longer gap between movies for him.
Yeah.
What was his last movie? It wasn't The Social Network. Something came out since then.
I mean, he did
assuredly.
The
Gone
Tattoo,
Girl.
And
Gone Girl came out since then. But still, that's like going to be 4 or 5 years between movies for him.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, and here's the other weird thing: Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I really liked, and they greenlit the sequels. And so, if he's going to do a franchise sequel, you'd think he would do that, but he's not going to be involved at all.
Yeah.
So.
If you have you seen the original ones with Noomi Rapace?
No. I really want to read the books, and so I didn't want to watch all these movies.
Yeah. I have not seen the Fincher one, but I watched the
Fincher one's great.
I watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo starring Noomi Rapace, the originally Swedish film. And dude, I liked it a lot. It's a hard watch, but
I know
it was really, really good.
You're not the biggest Fincher fan.
I don't dislike Fincher.
But I remember you saying, because you hadn't seen Gone Girl till we did our May reviews, and there was a few Fincher movies that you never went out of your way to see. I really recommend Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
That's just it. I just don't go to my way for Fincher. Yeah. I'm not a Fincher super fan. I like his work when I see it.
I'd say he's one of my top 5 favorite directors.
I'll say let's real quick.
Top 5 Fincher films, Max. Let's hear them.
Gone Girl, Seven, and Fight Club are my favorites that I've seen him do, but I'm missing a lot of work here that I should really watch. Yeah. I'll say I love I love a lot of his music videos.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about some of them.
Yeah, so he did Freedom 90, the George Michael video. One of my favorite music videos of all time. He did some Jermaine Stewart videos.
Yeah.
He did some Madonna stuff. He actually is a really wonderful visual director.
He sure is.
So, like I said, I don't dislike him. It's just like I never really caught up with all of his work, and I need to. He made my least favorite Alien film from the original Alien run, the first
3.
4. Alien 3, yeah. I actually.
What was the 4th movie? In
Alien Resurrection, which
I thought that one was pretty widely considered.
Everyone kind of hates it, but I like aspects of it because it's unapologetic sci-fi.
That's Joss Whedon too.
Joss Whedon wrote it, and then the guy who directed Amelie, I want to say directed it. Hold on. Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I believe, yeah, he did it. So, and he's known for Amelie, Delicatessen, The City of Lost Children. I can't see anything recently that he's done that people might know. But I enjoyed Alien Resurrection for what it was, which is dumb. Alien 3 was trying to be a lot darker.
Yeah.
And did some stuff that I didn't like right off the bat. So it's never really stuck with me. But,
there you go.
But I did enjoy Resurrection, and it had some cool... It has a really good cast. It has Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman, Brad Dourif. It's just fun and stupid.
There you go.
Yeah. But
anyways, that's World War Z.
World War Z, yeah. We got real far on that one. Speaking of...
World War Z is pretty... It's a missed opportunity, but it's also not that bad. Like, it's fine.
It's kind of like Lawless.
Sure.
If you see it, you didn't waste a night. You watched a decent movie that you probably could have seen something better, but it's okay.
Yeah, and you can flush it out of your brain.
Yeah. I do think the idea of everything that happens in World War Z, the aftermath, would be more interesting.
Yeah.
Which is cool to have Fincher on that.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
They could go any direction, so.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
Speaking of going any direction, you have Ted.
Yeah.
Which is a movie I've never seen.
That's fine.
And that's good enough for me. We also have Ali.
I love Ali.
I've never seen this either, but I have no problem with Ali. I want to watch it. It's on my list of, you should have seen that. Who directed it?
Michael Mann.
Yeah, that's right.
And Will Smith's amazing, and he perfectly captures Muhammad Ali's spirit in his performance.
A lot of times people kind of diss on Will Smith for just being that guy who's likable in everything.
Yeah, which is almost not his fault.
He can't help that. I mean, he has like a 20 on charisma here, like he's just the most likable guy ever, kind of.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he's Will Smith. Like, everyone loves him. It's kind of like Tom Hanks, where I can't picture Tom Hanks playing a role where I don't like the guy.
Yeah, but both Will Smith and Tom Hanks also have turned in some really good, really well done performances on top of being charismatic, and this is one of Will Smith's.
Yeah, yeah. They can walk the walk, basically.
There you go.
So,
Ali, though, I think every Michael Mann movie is like 3+ hours long, including Ali. So
that's fair.
When you watch it, just be ready.
Just clear my schedule.
Yeah.
Also, be ready if you watch American Psycho.
I have not seen American Psycho.
Oh, we should have watched it.
I'm not that interested in it.
I love American Psycho.
It seems on the surface level to me like one of those bro movies, kind of like Fight Club and Rounders. It's guys like really like it.
Yeah. I know just as many women who love this film. I'll say that. It's American Psycho. It's this really weird black comedy horror / look at like an examination of corporate America.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, man. I don't know. I've known people who like it in a more serious way, but every time I've watched it, I'm just cracking up the whole time. And I'll just say I think you should definitely check it out. Just go into it knowing that it's a funny. To me, it's just a funny movie.
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah, I think maybe some edgelords used to like it, and that's maybe why you feel like it.
Of. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
So
edgelords.
Don't pay attention to the edgelords.
Never.
Another just funny movie is The Wedding Singer.
Yeah, that one's just legitimately funny.
Probably my favorite Adam Sandler film.
It's up there for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of his most earnest films where it was before Adam Sandler became a genre.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's one of the best movies that taps into like the stereotypical 80s culture, and it works for the film because it's a comedy. So it's like, do you like Flock of Seagulls? I can tell you do. Stuff like that. Like those jokes work. The music works in it. He's a wedding singer, so it needs to have like the top hits.
Yeah, and it's like cheesy.
And then best of all, like the chemistry works in the film.
Yeah, for
This is the beginning of the Barrymore, Sandler.
Yeah, what else did they have? 50 First Dates.
50 First Dates. They might have done one recently.
They did, what was it, like Blended? No. They went, I can tell you the plot. They went on an African safari together after a failed first date. I believe he is dating Brooklyn Decker in it, or she's in it at least.
Yeah, that sounds right. I didn't even know that was the plot of this, but hey,
I am a little upset that I knew that.
Yeah, that was. There you go.
That's your trilogy.
And I like how it's probably gotten worse with each film.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't like 50 First Dates either, but
never saw
a lot of people liked it.
Yeah. We also had Funny Farm.
Oh, I love Funny Farm. This is one of my like parents' favorite comedies too.
That's why it's on this list, I think.
Well, it's just a good. Fun
No, I mean
Chevy
sometimes I have like old favorites of mine on the list. I've never seen this one. Tell me about it.
They moved to this farm in, I want to say like New Hampshire or something, and I think he's it's been a really long time since I've seen the whole thing. I think he's a writer who's like struggling to write, and then his wife is kind of a just like a housewife, and she's plodding along finding things. Then she ends up writing a book, and he gets like really mad about it because he can't. And it's just like I don't know. It's like one of those situational comedies. It's just like the Christmas Vacation and like all the Griswold stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of in that same vein.
Fun Chevy Chase, basically.
Yeah.
I got you.
I believe there's a mailman who hates him, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the, I'm trying to think of a good name for this type of comedy. It's not a gross out comedy, obviously.
It's definitely not gross out comedy.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a family comedy. But
I would say, I mean, it's not a family comedy in that like a Pixar movie is a family comedy, but it's not inappropriate really at all. It's just like a fine comedy.
Yeah, just a middle of the road, good time comedy.
A good like late 80s movie. Yeah, I think it was late 80s.
Yeah, I mean the poster says it all, so I'm with you on that.
So maybe it's not that big of a release. It's bigger in our family's
dude, that's fine.
Household.
Like I said, I've tossed a couple of those in here before, so
there you go.
And then our final film we could have picked, which is actually a film I liked the first time I saw it, but I haven't seen it since, was Sleepy Hollow. Yeah,
well, I'm not that interested in this because I'm not very interested in Tim Burton.
Yeah.
For the most part. I like some Tim Burton stuff, but the average Tim Burton film, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm honestly the same way, but like I recognized when he does good stuff, but
the story of Sleepy Hollow is kind of cool, though.
This is definitely on my...
like the classic story.
Yeah, and this goes more to the, like, taking it and examining it more, I'm not going to say realistic, but more the historical.
Yeah.
It's still Tim Burton, so it's not obviously 100% true in any single way. Yeah. But it takes a lot of those like Disneyfications out while still keeping it fantastical.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have Johnny Depp, you have Christina Ricci, Christopher Walken, Casper Van Dien, your boy. I mean, there's a lot of people in here. Jeffrey Jones, Miranda Richardson, Ian McDermott, Christopher Lee. This movie's a lot of people in here. Michael Gambon, I think, is in it. I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it. I saw it in theaters. I would gladly watch this just on my own if I come across it in streaming.
Was it like 99, 2000, 2001?
Let's see. It was, I feel like it's in the 2000s, but 99. Yeah. So
I feel like I was at an extended family member's house, like our family was, and they were watching it, and then my parents said I couldn't keep watching it. That's my only experience.
That's fair.
But I can't confirm that. Sarah, if you remember that, let me know.
Yeah. I think Burton's style works really well for this genre. Like,
I mean, gothic horror,
turn of the century. Well, not turn of the century, but 1800s or something.
I mean, everything Tim Burton does, he adds a gothic horror.
Yeah. So, but this one actually fits. Yeah, so that's why it works. But
like Alice in Wonderland with all the gothic horror, I'm like, you don't.
No, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I'll gladly watch it again. I might watch it soon in the Halloween season, perhaps.
Whoa.
But
Sleepy Halloween.
There we go. Right there.
Right there.
So we had some good picks.
A lot to discuss there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, maybe we should start picking multiple movies a line at some point.
We might have to.
Let's just toy with that idea.
Yeah. We'll just have to be better at scheduling if we do, but no, I think we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then at the same time, as we get into these good films, there's so much more to discuss. We say that we discussed, I think, Lawless pretty well just now, but
sure.
I mean, plot-wise, there's not much to go into, so we can just skip that.
I mean, it's just not worth going into.
Yeah.
Like, there's a plot, but...
Yeah, there's definitely a plot.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
The real value of the movie comes from, like, the period piece kind of stuff. The performances, again, I think LaBeouf and Dane DeHaan are the best part.
Yeah. I'm glad I've seen this to say that Dane DeHaan can do something I like, which I'm putting the onus on me there, not on Dane.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce is very evil, but he also like has no clear motivation, so it's really hard to get on board with him as a villain.
Yeah.
Like we talked about how Ed Harris's character in The Rock, his motivation was clear. You knew what he wanted. He
Great
stuck
villain.
to it. He always stuck with it. Great villain because you can root and understand for him. Guy Pearce is not like that. He's just like a fart with a bad haircut.
Yeah, at one point he's like, I come from the big city, so I know crime, I hate criminals.
Yeah.
And they touch on that in his introduction, but it stops there. And then
They
for
should
the
have
rest
done
of the time,
more with
he's
him
like,
and Gary Oldman, who is
Yeah.
a big city criminal.
Yeah.
Then you can show some more background there or something. but-
like, they could have had him trying to sacrifice the Bondurants to get to Gary Oldman.
yeah, something.
That would have at least made more sense. But it was just, he was just a creep the whole time.
This movie also had one of my favorite OTGs. That guy, Bill Camp, who is in all sorts of stuff. You recognize him as soon as you see him. For me, the biggest thing recently he's been in was the HBO miniseries The Night Of. He was like the main detective.
Yeah.
And he's really
For
good.
me, my OTG moment for that guy was Aloha.
Oh yeah, he was in Aloha.
Yeah. And he was one of the better people in Aloha because everyone sucks in that movie. So, I mean, I give him credit for just being like, go talk to that guy. That's pretty much his role the whole time.
I don't even remember his role.
He was
I'm
like
sure that he was the best part.
He was like the military guy who was organizing between Bradley Cooper and I Stood Up For You. What's his name?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. He was like the guy who would give him the phone.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it was just a nothing role.
He's a good OTG though.
Yeah,
I'd say at the
for
end of the year when we pick our OTG All Stars, I'd say he's a front runner.
And we'd like to announce that at the end of the year, we're picking our OTG All-Stars.
Yeah, so make sure you submit your cases for your OTGs.
Yeah. Lawless was directed by John Hillcoat.
Yeah, he also did The Road, which is the Cormac McCarthy
novel,
adaptation.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the movie, and I know it's like very grim.
Yeah. I think you should watch it.
But I heard it's good.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's got that creepy kid, Cody McPhee.
He's in the X-Men.
No, you know what? I get him confused with Asa Butterfield, who's very creepy.
Yeah. Cody isn't as creepy. He plays Nightcrawler in the latest X-Men film. But no, I mean, it's The Road is an interesting film. Guy Pearce is also in that.
Oh.
And same, Nick Cave did the music in this as well as Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, not the comic writer, but the musician, did the music in Lawless, and he did it in this. So I guess he works with John Hillcoat pretty frequently.
Yeah, Nick Cave also wrote Lawless.
Yeah.
And composed for that. He's done a lot of composing, though. He composed The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, which is a great movie with great music. And Lawless, I thought the music was good, but I'm a sucker for like that kind of orchestral music with like that soft like fiddle violin coming in. That stuff gives me a real boner.
The Appalachian orchestrated music is good. So there's a really cool scene where Shia first goes to the church to see Mia Wasikowska's character, but they're doing shape note singing, which is a cool like Appalachian type of like chorus that's associated, I think, with both Southern culture and churches.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it, just look it up. It's pretty cool. But they do that, and so that was kind of fun to hear like that cool sound. It's definitely a unique sound to it.
That scene was really weird. That's one where
really
Shia LaBeouf shows up at church, gets his feet washed, and gets really sick.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out if it was because he drank cricket water earlier, which was just some kind of like bad distillation.
It was just dirty water, wasn't it?
Cricket came up with to test
like
out a new distillation method under their house, which they ended up using, and that made them money at first, but it was all
they go into how Cricket invents like first Cricket took their car and like put a cooler engine in it so they could get away from the cops all the time. Then Cricket made these like steel distilling drums or something, and they were really able to crank out the hooch. They didn't use the word hooch enough in the movie. I'm just realizing it now that I've said it out loud. That's the biggest fault.
They definitely could have fixed it.
The biggest fault is it's just kind of boring.
Yeah, the biggest fault is...
I don't think there's any consequence to almost any action in the movie.
No.
Like, even when bad things happen, they don't matter. Like, Shia LaBeouf's character, at the end, they have this big standoff with the cops. He drives out there. Guy Pearce shoots him. He's fine. Guy Pearce shoots Tom Hardy like 5 times. He's fine. Jason Clarke probably got shot, too.
Yeah.
And then they just end up killing Guy Pearce. Like, I think Shia does it, right? Jack.
Well, he shoots him, and he's like dying and about to say something, and then Jason Clarke walks up and shoves a knife through his spine.
That's right.
Which was cool.
Yeah. But it's like nothing happened. They all had like plot armor, and that's sort of a point.
Yeah.
Because then at the very end, after all this, like after the bootlegging was over, they were all just back on the old Pondering family farm, and they were all just like hanging out. It was maybe Christmas. We weren't sure, but we said it was.
It was icy.
It was icy, but yeah.
And they were having a big family dinner, so we assumed it was, but it might have been clear, and we're just forgetting.
It wasn't in the story. We just assumed it was. Then Tom Hardy goes out by the lake, dances, falls in, and gets hypothermia and dies. So like, there's sort of a point there where it's like, and he
doesn't like die at the moment. He gets pneumonia and dies later. But Jack's narration is like, it opens the film talking about everyone being invincible, that that Forrest survived like tuberculosis or something like that, some disease of yesterday, but and that he was fine, and that like he can take all these bullets and he's still fine. He gets his throat cut, he's still fine, he's invincible. And in the end, he dies from pneumonia, which is an interesting point. It just should have been driven a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then like if
they talked about it out loud in the movie, like about how he's seemingly invincible. He's like, "Oh, I'm not invincible." What voice is
and that?
Was
that was honestly pretty good. But that was in the first act when they're driving.
Yeah.
Then it's never touched again. They show the actions of it, like I said, people getting shot, throats getting cut, but they don't go on and on about it. And I feel like for that being a major theme, it could have been there more.
You should do more. Yeah.
And then, like I said, I like that it dips into this criminal world, their family, and then they come out and survive. Yeah. But I think that should have been more of a focus instead of the cool violence, which was cool, but
not that cool, though.
It's not cool enough to trump this like interesting idea of a family getting driven into something.
Yeah, and I mean, as it was a product of the times and stuff. They mention the Dust Bowl once.
Yeah.
They mention these things like in passing to try and build that setting, but then the setting is never really a character.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like a really good setting is going to be part of the movie. In this, it really wasn't that
like
much.
Oh Brother handles the setting a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
Very similar setting.
Yeah.
And it's as much a character as the brothers themselves.
Yeah. So. And in Oh Brother, they don't need to tell you, like, they're in Franklin County, the wettest county during Prohibition and all this. In this movie, they have to tell you that stuff to make it part of the movie, but then it doesn't ever become anything. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest disappointment, is that they kind of missed the mark on some of those historic things.
And the first act is building that up pretty good with them delivering the moonshine.
They're driving through the whole county,
But then it just gets distracted, like we said.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I'm just, you know... Yeah. It's like many movies we watch where it's frustrating to see what could be good.
Yeah.
And it's just
where
not
it feels like little things could be changed to make it better. But, I mean, those are big decisions to make. So I get why the Weinsteins didn't push this for their Oscar run. I don't know what they pushed that year.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, you're not going to waste an evening watching this movie. It'll be fine to watch it, but I wouldn't really go out of my way.
Yeah. I'll probably never watch it again, and that's fine.
Yeah, just key scenes.
That doesn't mean it was bad.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, there's other stuff out there.
It's true.
No.
It's better than Gangster Squad.
Well, I can't even confirm that, but probably.
I'll just say it is because that makes me feel better.
Hot take.
Kind of a cool take, but still.
Max, where can the good people find us?
You can find us in a kudzu-covered building distilling some of our own swill water.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you can find us at thecriticalbreakdown.com. You can find me inviting Jessica Chastain to stay with me on a weekly basis, or you could just find me on Twitter, probably doing that.
Where on Twitter?
At Max Rivera Film.
You can find me and Cricket, making, just tinkering around in the old engine there and dealing with rickets. Or you can find me at breakdown_Scott on Instagram.
Yeah.
Go to thecriticalbreakdown.com. We got all sorts of blogs and stuff.
Put up some blogs.
A lot of fun stuff on there.
Follow us on our social medias. Give us a rating and review on iTunes because it raises our rankings in the system.
And, more importantly, it raises our morale.
Yeah, it tells us
system
to keep
of life.
Going.
Yeah.
To do that thing.
Yeah. And we want to do that thing.
Yeah.
You know, Josh Rivera did our art.
Jason Brown did our music.
And Walter is the podcast's bootlegger.
And we're the Bondurant Boys.
Next week on The Critical Breakdown,
we're watching the best movie of all time, Point Break, rated 68% on Rotten Tomatoes.
The original, not the remake.
Yeah, not the remake. Good to see